In this video, we're going to talk high ticket sales interviews. So how to land the jobs where you can make 10K a month and more. So let's get into it. First, if you've been going on interviews for these high ticket sales roles and you haven't landed anything yet, like you're not getting any callbacks or responses, that could be for a couple of reasons. First, if you've only had a few interviews, sometimes they just go with other people. Like that's going to happen sometimes. I wouldn't take it personally. It's got nothing to do with you. However, there is a large amount of cases where I see people go on interviews and they just don't really want the role bad enough, or they're not good at communicating that. So let me explain. When a business owner or someone is interviewing people, he is more likely to hire the person who isn't qualified, but they really want the role really, really bad, over the person who is qualified, but doesn't seem like they're committed to the role. So what does wanting the role bad look like? That person is willing to completely commit to this role. They're willing to work really hard, work longer hours, take more calls, learn new things that they've never done before, and get outside of their comfort zone. Business owners want to hire that person over an experienced person who might come at the interview like, oh, well, I'll let you know, I'm interviewing for some other roles as well. I can only work these specific hours. You don't want to say things like this on an interview. But many people do this. They come onto these interviews with their own set of needs and demands before they've even finished the interview or even been offered the job. Now, after it's been offered to you, that's a more appropriate time to go over things like that. Like, hey, can we talk about the hours? Can we work something out here? Someone is much more likely to speak with you about those things at that point. But on an interview, your main priority should be showing them that you're all in, that you want this role bad. You don't have 5 other priorities that are going to distract you from this. Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean that you should be desperate. It just means demonstrate to them that you are all in. You are willing to do whatever it takes to learn anything, to do extra work, etc. You're just excited about this job and you are 100% committed to this. That is the punchline. And having to explain this seems crazy to me because this should be a given, but I see many people do the things that I mentioned before. They go on the interview with like one foot in the door, like, well, I don't want to seem too eager, like all this weird stuff they have going on in their mind. I'm thinking, where'd you get these behaviors and beliefs, right? This isn't like a date, this is a sales role, but whatever. So hopefully this will help a lot of you. Just be all in. Let them know that you're willing to do whatever it takes and that you will work hard. You just need to communicate this without being needy. It's not that hard to do. And it makes a huge difference, especially these days. And this is why I put it at the beginning of the video, because you have no idea the mass amounts of the types of other people that they are talking to and the weird things they're having to deal with when they're hiring. I'm telling you, as someone who's coached and placed hundreds of people into high ticket sales roles and coached them through these sales interviews, that most people these days are not that impressive. They are the opposite of impressive. So this quality that I'm talking about is far more important than your qualifications or your experience, and it holds way more weight when it comes to hiring. At the end of the day, experience and qualifications are just words on a screen. If you can demonstrate on an interview that you're a really hard worker and that you're going to be all in and do whatever it takes, many times that alone is going to cause them to choose you over many more experienced, more qualified candidates. Everything is just about people. And like you'll learn this more and more as you get deeper into business or deeper into sales. If you have a great interview and you just do what I'm talking about, and the interviewer gets off the call and he's thinking, well, I really like that guy. Like we had a good call. I feel like he was totally committed. I can tell he's going to do whatever it takes. They're just highly likely to hire you. Most people are not these things. Now, next thing to do on interviews that no one does, take some time and show them that you've actually looked into this business and what they do, what they sell, and like what their culture is and what their types of clients are. So I'm going to explain all this. It's crazy how many people go on interviews without having done any research into the company or business. They know what the company is maybe and what the product is, but that is the extent of it, no other details. And they just think things like, well, I'll just find out everything I need to know on the interview. They just got like a random call or email back saying, hey, schedule an interview, and then they go into it blind. And this is a product of people sitting on job boards just spamming their resume out to companies all day, right? Sitting on Indeed or like ZipRecruiter, just sending your resume off to like tons and tons of job posts all day. That's why you have no idea what interview you're going on. And I've had business owners tell me they'll post a job and they'll select a few people from the applicants to schedule an interview. And this is common when these people get on the actual interview, they're like, what company is this? Who are you again? Instantly, you're not getting the job. You're done. You can't be any lazier or less prepared than that. So this is your competition. So this is obviously wrong. Don't do this. When you get an interview, go and do some homework. Go and look at their website or their social media. Explore it. Do some research. What do they sell? What are the types of people their clients and customers are? And I would just find some things that you like about the company or business that you can at least talk about or mention on the interview that shows, oh, they did some homework. They actually care about this call. They prepared, right? And this goes back to the first point. People that really want to get a high ticket sales job, they're not lazy or stupid, with the way that they approach the search and interview process. If you really want it, you'll do this type of stuff. You'll do extra work. You'll do homework. You'll prepare. But no one does this. Any way that you can demonstrate to them that you would be a good fit for their business or culture that they have there, that's going to go so far for you when it comes to getting hired. Because like I said, no one's doing any of this. It just makes you stand out and anyone's able to do this. It's very easy stuff to do. And it's very easy stuff to do that gives you huge advantages when you go on interviews. So quick summary, the way that you can stand out for any interview is just show the business that you're a hard worker, you're committed and willing to do whatever it takes, and that you've prepared and done some homework. Like you actually care and you're serious. Just doing that alone separates you from like 95% of average fucking people these days. So most people go on interviews and they just answer the questions. They don't have any questions of their own. They don't make any effort to show why should they hire you. So just putting in some effort beforehand and taking it seriously goes a long way. Even just like, and I have endless things to say about this, bro. Even just showing them that you actually did some research into the business beforehand, you don't understand how uncommon this is. They're going to be like, oh, whoa, a serious person. I haven't talked to one of these in years. Now, one more way that you can stand out on interviews is the way that you present your past experience. And this will be big for a lot of people since a lot of people watching this are beginners. Since you don't have tons of high ticket sales experience to lean on, this helps a lot. Most people that are just getting into this will go on interviews and they'll just blurt out, well, I have no experience. I have no high ticket sales experience, right? But you shouldn't do that. What you want to do instead of explicitly saying that, is look at the work experience that you do have. Did any of it at all involve selling to some degree, basically? I'm talking like, let's say you were a cashier at a gas station. Instead of saying, oh, I was a cashier at like Target or the dollar store or something, you could say, at my job, I spoke to hundreds of new people a day. And before they checked out, I would upsell them on other products and get them to buy more things. You literally did that. You're checking people out. There's more things they buy at the register. You didn't lie. All of that is true, but you just worded it like that is what sales is. If you don't understand, the way a business makes a lot more money long term is they take their existing customers and they sell them more things. So that is sales, what you were doing, and you just worded your real cashier at the dollar store job into like you're a salesperson instead of saying, oh, I have no experience, I was just a cashier. You see what I'm saying? So all you did is word it differently, and they're like, oh, well, that's what I want. Someone that cares about making more money for my business and takes the initiative to sell more things to more people, that's a salesperson. So you see the difference? You see how you can take the experience? I just took an extreme example. I took that experience that you do have and presented it to the interviewer in a good way where it sounds much better. I don't know why people do this, because they're lazy and they're not serious and they just want to do the bare minimum and their brains are rotted from TikTok. That's why they don't do any of the things I'm talking about in this video. They wonder why they never achieve anything in their life. All this does is it takes a few minutes. You can look at what have I done for work in the past and how would this be appealing to this business that I'm interviewing for. So that's all you have to do. And I definitely didn't say lie or make up work experience, to be clear. That's not what I said. But you have work experience and you have worked with people before, probably. So just use your brain and think, how can I present this to them in a way that is beneficial and appealing to them for what they're looking for in a high ticket closer. And this type of thinking is just so rare, it's insane. You would think people would take making money more seriously, but they don't. There's no one out there who's doing any of this stuff, and the ones who are getting the really good high ticket sales roles that you want. So just choose to be one of them. That's the end of the video. If you want my help getting a closer role or a setter role, go to the links in the description. Until next time.